All right, what's going on, everybody? Are you researching e-bikes? Is that why you clicked on this video? Or maybe you've already decided that the Himiway bike is the bike you want to get. You like the price point, you like the power delivery that it's got, you like the styling of it. Maybe you've selected, okay, I think this is the bike that I want to get. So now you're trying to decide which model of the Himiway should I get? The Escape or the Step-Thru or the Cruiser? What are the differences? I'm not sure which one I should pick, which one's right for me. Well, I'm gonna hopefully answer some of that for you today. I've got all three bikes lined up outside and we're gonna go take a look at them. So let's go out there and do that now. Let's go over here to the Himiway gallery. All right, so I am fortunate enough to have all three models of the Himiway bike. Himiway sent these out to me for review videos, and now to do just kind of a overall comparison of all three. If you're looking at getting a Himiway bike, which one do you pick? So we're gonna go through all of these bikes today, just to kind of show you some of the similarities, some of the differences, so you can decide, you know, if you want to get a Himiway bike, which one do you pick? So let's jump into it. All right, well, this video is going to give you a close-up look at all three versions of the Himiway lineup. They're all right here, side by side, so you can see the differences. The way I'm going to set this video up is I'm going to go over some of the similarities across all these bikes, and then I'll go over some of the differences, and then I'll go over why you might want to choose one over the other. So, and I'm going to try to do my best to, play, basically Joe Friday in this video, where I'm giving you just the facts, ma'am. I'm not going to try to interject too much of my personal opinion in here. It's up to you to decide, which brand of bike you want and which style of bike you want. I'll leave that up to you. I'm just here to deliver you as much information as I can. So let's talk about, first off, let's talk about the 26-inch bikes right here, the Cruiser and the Cruiser Step-Thru. So these bikes are, they're virtually identical. I mean, really the only differences between these are going to be the frame design. So, same display screens and tires and motors and controllers and throttles and shifters and everything on these two bikes is pretty much the same. Now, they're the 26-inch wheel, technically. Well, I mean, really from the ground up to the top of the tires, 29 inches. So, that's something you really need to know about these bikes, is they're big. If you're a smaller person, this is going to be a big bike to handle. They weigh 72 pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood. They're kind of heavy. They're very tall. So just know that. I hear it all the time where people order these and they arrive at their house and they're just like, God, this thing is huge. I didn't know it was this big. It's like a mountain bike on steroids. They're ginormous. So with the Cruiser, this one, the black one, and the Cruiser Step-Thru, I mean, really the only major difference, like I said, is going to be that frame design. So, which frame design do you like better? Other than that, there's not a whole lot of differences to point out. This black Cruiser is actually a 2021 model, and this white one I've had for a while. It is a 2020 model, and I'll say right up front too, so I've got a little bit of extra pieces on this bike, the spoke skins and the phone holder and the mirrors and the suspension seat post. I'll put links to all that stuff in the description, because I know you guys will ask, where did you get XYZ? So every extra that's on any of these bikes, I'm going to link it in the description just so you can find it and decide if you want to get it too. So just know that. So these two bikes are essentially the same except for the frame design. Let's talk about across all three of these bikes now. So the things that are the same on all three of these bikes are going to be the display screen, which let's get a kind of a close up here. There you go. So there's your display. There's your cluster of buttons over there. All three of these bikes have the same exact display screen, the same programming, same buttons and everything. So I did a whole video on how to program the Himiway for, top speed and to adjust your pedal assist and all that. All three of these bikes have the exact same screen and programming stuff. So you can watch that video if you want to know how to program all that stuff. Other similarities. So these bikes, as far as tires and wheels go, they're pretty much identical. This one, these are 20-inch tires instead of the 26-inch, but they all run Kenda tires and they're all the same exact tread pattern. So no differences there. All three of these bikes have a twist throttle on the right hand. All three of them have the same Shimano Altus shifting mechanism. It looks like this. All three of the Himiway bikes come with front and rear fenders stock. I don't have the front fender on this bike at the moment, but it does come with it. All three bikes come with the rear rack included in the price. So these cruisers have this nice long wooden rack like that. It says Himiway on it. The Escape has a different shape rack, but same basic style. So rear racks and fenders are included on all three in the purchase price. This bike has a front basket on it. That is an option. You have to buy extra. The cruiser bikes have the mounting bracket. Both of them have, you know, this front mounting bracket where you can add an optional front rack if you want. These bikes have the same exact headlight on them. The Escape's headlight is slightly different. All right, what are their similarities across all these? We're gonna get all the same stuff out of the way at the beginning here. They all have removable batteries that, you know, kind of key in there. You have to have the key to release them. These ones release out the side, and these are identical on the Step-Thru and the regular cruiser. You could interchange those. The Escape has a different style of battery, but it's still removable and you can take it off the bike to charge it. And they all have a functioning tail light. When you have the headlights on, the tail light is on, and when you pull the brake levers, the brake light flashes. So, and I think they all have the same controller and the same motor in them. So I think that is all of the similarities across all these bikes. So I think it's more important now we get into what are some of the differences across the bikes. So for differences, obviously frame design. So three different distinct frame designs. This one I think is more of a standard frame design for e-bikes. I've seen a lot of e-bikes that use this very similar, if not the exact same frame design. The Step-Thru has a slightly different frame design, which I kind of like better actually. I haven't seen this style on a whole lot of other e-bikes. And then the Escape is just a complete standalone moped style bike. So completely different styling and frame design on this one. Other differences are going to be obviously the wheel size. You got the 26-inch wheels versus the 20-inch wheels on the Escape. Also, if you go Step-Thru to Step-Thru, the Step-Thru heights are going to be a lot different on these two. I'll put the two Step-Thru heights on the screen. I think this one's somewhere around 16 on the Escape. I think it might be like 24 or so on that one. So the Escape's going to give you a much lower Step-Thru. That's a major difference there. If you're looking for Step-Thru height, Escape is going to be way shorter.
This is it.
Can you get on the seat?
No.
That seat's a little bit higher since I have the suspension seat post.
A little.
Feel like you could ride that bike?
Yes.
Really?
I think so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get your tiptoes down.
Yeah. It's rideable.
Without the suspension seat post, it's
rideable.
seat goes a lot lower.
Yeah, this one's not bad.
Impressive. Can ride
Short
the cruiser.
Person approved.
Short person approved, 5'3" approved. I forgot to mention back at the wheels actually. So the Escape has mag wheels, so they're all metal, versus the spoke wheels on the two cruiser bikes. Other differences across these, the two cruiser bikes have mechanical disc brakes with a cable pull. The Escape bike has full hydraulic brakes on this one. Now here is a major difference actually, weight. The two cruiser bikes come in around this, just over 70-pound mark, maybe 71, 72 pounds. The Escape bike is a heavy bike. This is 91 pounds. That's what I weighed it in at. If you're gonna be putting this up onto a truck or up onto a bike rack, you gotta make sure the rack supports that you've got a way to mount it, because this is a very unique frame design. And then make sure that you personally can lift it. That's a heavy bike, so 90 pounds plus before you even put any extras on it. So weight is a big difference between these style of bikes. The next difference I'll say you should take into account is going to be, for lack of a better term, pedal ability. These cruiser bikes I find way easier to pedal them. If you want to pedal them and put input into the pedals, me being over 6 feet tall, it's way easier on the cruiser bikes to input into the pedals. This bike, with the way it's set up as this moped cargo delivery scooter style, I can't really input a lot into the pedals on this bike. And I kind of feel it's not really even meant for that, honestly. It's more just a kind of jitney around town, more like a moped. I find it difficult to pedal this bike very fast at all. I think I struggled pedaling it over like 25, 26 miles an hour. All right, other differences I can think of. The two cruiser bikes have a quick release front wheel. So you've got this right here. You can release and remove the wheel if you want. I never really do that, so I don't care. This bike has, you know, a through axle on it, so you got to have a wrench to take the front wheel off. Another glaring difference between these is going to be suspensions. So the cruiser bikes both have a front suspension arm here where you've got the dials. You can adjust preload and lock out. But this bike over here, not only does it have front suspension with the adjustments, but it does have these rear coils on the back too. So you have a full suspension front and back on this bike, and you can tell as you ride it around too that you do have that. On this bike I put a suspension seat post just to give me a little bit of suspension in the back. And side note, if you're ordering a suspension seat post, make sure it fits a 30.4 on this bike. That's what the diameter is on this seat post. Gotta have 30.4. So when I ordered that seat post, it came as a 27.2 with an adapter to make it 30.4. Continuing on the differences, so here's another big difference actually, that's something for you to consider, is battery size. So the cruiser bikes both have this big old battery pack, 17.5 amp hour battery. I did a range test on this white Step-Thru and this Escape. This Step-Thru carried me 28 miles without pedaling. That's throttle only on that battery before it was dead. The Escape bike, which has a 14 amp hour battery pack right here, carried me 18 miles with no pedaling. So pretty big range difference between these two bikes. I don't believe Himiway makes any larger capacity batteries on this Escape bike, and it would probably be very hard to find an aftermarket one that fits in this exact cutout that goes in the frame here. That little lever right there, you turn to release it and it pops out of there. I don't think you're going to find an aftermarket one that fits in there that's larger. You would probably have to just carry an extra one with you or wire in another one if you wanted a longer range. Really, if you're pedaling, I mean, I went 18 miles without even pedaling, so you're probably going to get closer to 30 if you're putting in a decent amount in the pedals. And one of the last differences I'll say is going to be the bike seats that you sit on. So these have, you know, a regular bike seat on them that goes up and down. You can adjust it to fit your size. The Escape bike does not. It has, this stationary moped style seat. It's a very wide seat, gives you a lot of area to move around on, but it does not go up and down or front and back. So that's where you're sitting on this bike. You can't adjust that at all. So like I said, me being over 6 feet tall, I don't really get full leg extension on this bike. I can't really input into the pedals a lot, but it is fun and comfortable to ride. I like taking this bike out. I ride it quite a bit actually. So I haven't had any issues with that, but it's something to know. You can't adjust this seat height at all. And I just thought of one more difference, and that is the color schemes. So these are the exact color schemes that you can get. So if you want black, you have to get the Escape or the cruiser bike. And if you want white, you got to get the Step-Thru. Those are your only choices. So to give you an idea on price, I just went on the website again really quick to look it up. So the cruiser and the Step-Thru cruiser come in at $14.99 at the moment, and the Escape bike is selling for $15.99. So there's only $100 difference between them right now. And I believe there's a discount code where you can get, if you buy 2 bikes, you get $100 off. So that's what you're looking at price-wise on these Himiways. Okay, so now let's talk about why you might choose one of these styles over the other. So we're gonna start with these 2 bikes, the cruiser versions, right? So why would you pick the Step-Thru over the regular cruiser? Well, I guess if you want a little bit of Step-Thru height, you're gonna go with the Step-Thru version of the bike. It's only gonna be shorter by a couple inches. It's really not that low of a Step-Thru. You gotta go from not the point of that frame, but a little bit higher where your foot's gonna actually pass through. So it's only a few inches different, really. But I mean, that might make all the difference for you. That would be one reason to get Step-Thru over regular cruiser. Another would be, like I said before, the styling. I like the frame style on this one a little bit better than on this one, although that is a really cool looking bike. I do like that bike a lot. So that couple inches of Step-Thru height might make a difference for you, or if you like the styling of that frame design a little bit better, you might pick the Step-Thru. And the other reason you might choose one of these over the other would be the color. If you want black or if you want white, you got to pick one or the other here. You can't have a white regular or a black Step-Thru. These are your two choices. So me personally, I do like the white Step-Thru a little bit better. I don't really use the Step-Thru. That's irrelevant for me because I'm tall and I have long legs, but I like this frame design better and I like the paint better because this paint probably doesn't show up on camera, but it's got a little bit of a sparkle to it. It's not pearl because it doesn't have, you know, colors in it, but it does, maybe it's like a white metallic. It has a metallic sparkle to it and it's a glossy paint. Whereas this one over here is just all flat black. This whole frame, this whole bike is flat black. I like this one over here. It's just a little bit jazzier, I think. So I do like the white one. I like the paint on that one a little bit better. Now, as far as, you know, why would you pick the escape bike over the cruiser bike? Well, there's a couple of reasons. So the battery size would be one thing. The cruiser bikes have that 17 and a half amp hour battery, and this is 14 amp hour, so it's gonna be shorter range on this bike. That's one reason. Battery size, I would say that the cruiser bikes are gonna be probably more off-road capable with that bigger wheel size. The cruiser bikes are gonna be easier to pedal if you're a taller person. Now on the escape bike, why you might pick this one, I mean, this has a full suspension on it. So if you're looking for a bike with rear suspension, you know, the escape bike's got it. It also has full hydraulic brakes. So if that matters to you, then the escape has full hydraulics, the cruisers don't. It has a very low Step-Thru height that neither of the cruiser bikes has. And the styling would be another reason to choose the escape. If you want this cool looking moped style, then that'd be a reason to pick escape. But the thing, I'm gonna say this one more time too, the thing to remember about the escape is it's heavy. This is 91 pounds is what I weighed it at. So it is definitely a heavy bike. All right, we'll get out of that tree shadow a little bit so you can get a good look at this bike. This is a cool little bike. I do have a lot of fun riding this one, even though I can't really pedal it a lot. I don't really pedal it a lot. I just ride this like a moped when I do ride it. But there you go. That is some of the similarities and differences across these bikes, why you might choose one over the other. Just to point out, I do have white spoke skins on this bike to dress it up. That's why the spokes are all white. This one doesn't have it on it yet. I just got this one, so I haven't really added many accessories to it at all yet. But hopefully you found some nuggets of information in there that might make it a little bit easier for you to decide if Himiway is the route you want to go, or if you've decided on a Himiway, which one of the three you should get. Well, if you enjoyed the video today and found it maybe helpful or at least entertaining, do me a favor, click subscribe and thumbs up, and I'm going to keep trying to do as many reviews and comparison videos as I can. And that's all for today, so thank you for watching.